Good evening and welcome to your Sunday evening installment of SPTV live from the UK. My name is Apostate Alex and I have been a little bit quiet over the last few days on my channel, and for that I can only apologize. But today I am bringing you some exciting news and updates because it is now only a few days until we shall descend upon the gates of Scientology's headquarters, St. Hill Manor in the United Kingdom. In protest, we want to send them a message that the certain activities and behaviors that the church is engaged in must stop. And we also want to come with a message of compassion and let people know inside Scientology that help is available. There is a community of people here to help you if you want to leave. So this is only going to be a short little stream. I wanted to update you guys because I know I've been a little quiet on my channel. It's been a busy week, and this week coming will be busier. We are now just 5 days away from the protest, and I thought let's talk a little bit about what's been happening in the last few days first. So my week last week started with an article in The Guardian, which very quickly became one of the top 10 most read articles on the newspaper in that week of the day. The Guardian has about 110 million monthly viewers on its website, so this is by all means a major flap for Scientology. So this is the article that went out: protesters planning action outside Scientology's headquarters. It was a really nice piece, and it was nice to get a little bit of exposure. For those of you out of the loop, to let you know, I am organizing this protest. It will be the largest protest against Scientology the UK has seen for about 15 years. And The Guardian and I had a little chat, and they did an interview talking about the peaceful protest that we are going to be engaged in with a clear message. There's a link to this. I will put it in the description if you want to read it if you haven't already. But I thought it was quite interesting to see the response that we got from the Scientology Office of Special Affairs. If we look at their statement, they said this protest was orchestrated by an anti-Scientologist who exploits his few weeks of participation in the church over a decade ago, and the allegations against the group were totally false. Now, firstly, I thought this was quite a funny rebuttal that they made, because I literally have certificates. They are just here in this little folder that show the dates I was involved in Scientology, and it shows as evidence it was more than just a few weeks, and it was less than a decade ago. So I don't know why that was the excuse they came up with, but hey ho, beggars can't be choosers. I thought it was funny. But what was perhaps even funnier was an article was also released in Newsweek, which has about 100 million monthly viewers on its website. And they released a statement that said a small handful of bigots are publicizing their intent to harass a religious convocation, and in the process trying to attract the attention of tabloid media. Their claims are untrue and utterly ludicrous. Alexander Barnes-Ross, that's me, was kicked out of the church over a decade ago. No one heard from him until he joined and promoted a hate group online. Now, why I found this particularly amusing was because it is firstly not a religious convocation. A religious convocation means a group of, like, a religious service, if you like. It's a religious activity with worship and that sort of thing going on. There is nothing that Scientology has previously tried to claim is a religious act of worship that is going to happen at the IES event. The IES event is nothing but a fundraiser for the International Association of Scientologists. There is no group auditing. There are no spiritual prayers to total freedom or anything like this, which is what the church has previously used to claim that it is a religious worship ceremony and get the recognitions they wanted to have in their buildings here in the UK. So their claims it's going to be a religious convocation is only going to be true if it is going to be filled with prayers to total freedom and connection with the infinite, which is what religion is defined as in British law. So unless they're going to majorly shake up the way that these events are run and held, they are lying in this statement. They are also lying that I joined a hate group, because if you compare their statement to my statement in the same article, which says as follows: the protest will be a peaceful demonstration carrying a message of compassion. We want to let Scientologists know there is a community of people here to support them if they choose to leave. Now, I find it really funny, because if you look at the two statements, which seems more hateful, mine or theirs? I don't know. It's also interesting to note that in the last week since these articles were published, the attempts to hack into my website, Scientology Business, have tripled. Since I launched it in August, I have been trying to speak about Scientology's UK activities, its finances, all of its legal operations here in the UK and Europe through this blog that I started. And since day one, it has been under attack and they've been trying to gain access to the back end of the website. But since this article went out, the amount of failed login attempts that I've been seeing on the website have tripled. And I'm not accusing Scientology of doing this because I don't have the evidence it is them, but I do think it is a very interesting coincidence that since I got majorly on their radar and got some major international press about this protest, the number of attempts to try and gain access to the website have tripled. So interesting. Could just be a coincidence, but unlikely in my opinion. Now, I bring you some news, and I don't want to ramble on for too long. Firstly, I announced yesterday that the plans for the protest have been given the green light. That means Mid Sussex District Council and Sussex Police, who I've been in major regular communication with over the last couple of weeks to try and gain the approvals required for this protest, they have come back and said that it can go ahead, which I think is huge. I think that's fantastic. In British law, you don't have to have permission to do a static protest, but what we want to do is a march. We want to assemble on Friday in East Grinstead Town Centre, which is the nearest town to St Hill, and we want to march down to St Hill. It's about a 45-minute walk. It's through the town centre, right down the main road, and then turning left onto St Hill Road. Now, St Hill, for those of you who don't know, it's on a country lane. There's not really much going on in the area. There are 3 entrances onto the property that are the main entrances used. 2 of them are on St Hill Road, and the third one, the stables, is just around the corner. So it's kind of, you'd have to be going to the event if you're going to be using that road. Now, the march, because it's not a static protest, that is something we needed to get approval from the council and from the police for. And they've gone ahead and said, yes, we can do the march. Now, that leaves one question, which is something I have been negotiating since I announced this event, and this is the big announcement. I personally did not think that this was going to happen. I am very, very surprised that it's been approved. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is the headline news. I have managed to close St Hill Road from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. on Friday, the 3rd of November. This is the road that is the only road that gives access to the St Hill property. That means you can only get to and from the event via this road, and the council came back and confirmed earlier in the week that that road will be closed. Now, there are a few things to consider. As the property owners, they have a right of access, right? They have to be able to get on and off the property. There's a rugby club and a sports club and such that are going to be on the road. So it's not going to be a complete and outright closure. No one can get to and from St Hill, but it is going to be a little spanner in the works for them. We are going to be marching and we are going to be demonstrating. So for the safety of the protesters, we need to limit the traffic that's in the area so that cars don't run us over. So this was the main concern that I raised with Sussex Police and with Sussex District Council, and they went ahead and enforced an Act of Parliament. There's an Act of Parliament called the Town and County Authority powers or something like this. I'm getting the name wrong, but they have the ability to override a few different departments and close a road for events like this. They came ahead and announced that this is going to happen. They've closed the road for the safety of the protesters. And we are currently in the last stages of negotiation as to how we can get the 5,000 or so Scientologists they are saying they are expecting onto and off of the property. Obviously, if there's lots of traffic going by, that's going to put people at risk. So we are negotiating, and I can bring you more updates in the coming days about how that's actually going to turn out on the day. But what my thinking is, and what the current proposal is, that Sussex Police will be stationed at both ends of the road, and Scientologists will be given a pass if they are going to the event, or people are going to St Hill for whatever reason on the day. They will have to show a pass which will then gain them access to the road. And I am asking that they are then escorted from the end of the road to the property at a slow pace, because that means that we as protesters won't be in any danger or in harm's way or anything like this. So it's going to cause a little bit of a headache for the Scientologists going to the event, and the details will be coming out in the coming days. But the main thing that I want to get across is that we do not want to impact or affect or get in the way of their event. I actually had a communication with the Office of Special Affairs just the other day when I spoke to them on the phone, and I said, hey, look, I'm organizing this protest and we may have differing opinions, but I don't want to step on your toes and impact your event in a negative way. We just want to peacefully protest outside. So I just like to ask you a few questions and, get in, sort of have a good conversation about what you're planning to do on the day so that we can organize our protest accordingly. Now, they weren't so happy to hear from me and very promptly hung up the phone, but I have emailed them and I've passed on my communication to West Sussex Police, where I've said, look, I'm trying to organize this to cause minimal disruption to their event, but we need to know certain things. For example, what time are they expecting most guests? How many people are going to be showing up, so that we can organize our protest accordingly. Now, obviously, they don't like hearing from a big bad SP like me, but I'm trying to act in good faith here. We do not want to send a message that they're in a cult or people believe in aliens or Xenu or anything like this. We are there to share the message of compassion, that there are people here outside that want to help you if you choose to leave. And we also want to inform Scientologists that David Miscavige, who's the leader of the church, is currently evading process servers and is a named defendant in a number of US lawsuits that allege things like human trafficking and intimidation and harassment. So we want to make sure Scientologists are aware that these things are going on, and that the organization they are a part of and that they are supporting, which is the International Association of Scientologists, is funding this behavior, and the US taxpayers are also funding it. So I'm trying to act in good faith and be the best protest organizer I can, but nonetheless, we will be there in spirit, we will be there in person, and we will make our presence known. We're currently figuring out the finer details of exactly where we're going to be, but if you want to know any information about the protest, you can go to iasprotest.com, where you can actually have a look at the event schedule if you are planning on coming. We will be live streaming this, so if you want to take part online and see what we're up to, just keep an eye on the channel where I'll be live streaming. This is the event information. So we're going to be meeting at 2 p.m, which is in the UK time, obviously, in East Grinstead. We'll then be having a little briefing, and about 2:30 we'll be beginning the march, and this is our route. We'll be walking through East Grinstead Town Centre, along the main road, and then down to St Hill, where we shall stay until the event that they are planning starts. And this is the location of the protest for the Saturday and Sunday, where we're going to be returning. Now, just to give you an idea, this is a screenshot of the map. This here is St Hill Road. This is the main road that the manor is on, which will be closed to all traffic and all pedestrians on the day from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the safety of us protesters. So it's going to be here at St Hill Green that the barrier will be placed, and it will be right up the other end at Turners Hill Road that the road will be closed as well. So all traffic to and from St Hill will be monitored, and it will be escorted, I hope, by the police. So I'll keep you up to date on that. But this is all the information if you're interested in the rules, what our messaging is, what to bring, travel, logistics, and so on, and any other information you would be interested in. So iasprotest.com is where to go if you want to find out more. Now, obviously, because we're organizing this march, there are a lot more costs than I expected that are incurred. So if you do want to support the protest in any way financially, it would be really, really appreciated, because there are a couple of things I'm having to spend quite a lot of money on that I didn't expect to. So if you want to buy me a coffee, there's a link in the description, or PayPal as well would be really, really beneficial, because we have to spend some money on things like insurance, on security, security and a few other things that I have to have in place to ensure the safety and protection of the protesters that I wouldn't have had to have paid for if it was just going to be a static protest. So because of this, I am kind of asking for a little bit of support. If you can support financially, please buy me a coffee, PayPal. Every little helps, and hopefully we can make this all go ahead and go to plan. I have to submit risk assessments and show that I have taken into account the safety of the protesters and certain things that I have to do to ensure that we are not going to be causing too much of a fuss for the event. We're not going to be going onto their property, that we're going to be kept safe, and we are going to be peaceful, because I ultimately am responsible for the activities and behavior of those taking part in the protest. So in order to protect myself and to protect everybody involved, there's a couple of things that I need to finance ahead of time. So if you are in a position to support, that would be really, really appreciated. Buy me a coffee, PayPal, link down below. That would be great. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Alrighty, I'm going to answer some of your questions here. Plato, is there a word if little Davy is in the UK yet? Great question. As far as I'm aware, David Miscavige is not yet in the United Kingdom, but he is expected to arrive any day now. He usually travels Sunday or Monday, as far as I understand, on Tom Cruise's private jet. I'm keeping an eye on a number of different transport arrangements he may or may not be involved in, and I will, of course, update you as soon as I know that Dave Miscavige is here in the UK. Free Xenu Project. Little baby Davy with his fake Space Navy is shaking in their sea boots. That is 100% correct, right? This is nothing short of a major flap for Scientology. Graham Wilson, who's the head of OSA, is not someone who I am considered to be on his on the good list for. I am pretty sure he doesn't like me right now. And when I tried to speak to him on the phone the other day, and acting good faith, this is the response I got. I phoned up and I said, "Hi, I'd like to speak to Graham Wilson." I said, "Who's calling?" And I said, "Alex." And the lady I spoke to said, "Alex who?" And I said, "Don't you worry, I think you'll know exactly who I am." And she went, "Oh, right, yeah, 1 second." And then came back and said, "He's not available, sorry," and almost hung up before I got a word in there. I managed to have a very small conversation with her beforehand. So I'm very much on their radar. There has been 2 major articles in The Guardian and in Newsweek that reach over 200 million people around the world. There's also been major press coverage in the Express and so on. What I find really funny is the IES event is meant to be championing all of the social betterment programs and humanitarian work that Scientology have been doing. And they're trying to say, look, this is all the great work that we've been doing to help the planet. And you would have thought that if it was true that they were really doing all of these things and really were helping, that would be a major press story. However, the press seem more interested in the demonstration that is going to be taking place outside. And so that's what's been getting the press attention. And it doesn't really help them that their response isn't to say, "Hey, look at all this amazing stuff that we're doing. This is why we're hosting the event." Their response is to say that I'm a bigot and that I'm part of a hate group online. Our message is one of compassion. It's not one of attacking, and it's not one of hate. Christian B, thank you for the super chat. For a march, you get the legal permission. COS spends time and money skirting what's legal. You approach things in the least angry, discriminatory way. Yes, exactly. And that is why I've been playing by the rules and have been very clear with the council and with the police about our intentions, our goals, what we're going to be doing on the day, where we're going to be meeting, and why we're there. If people have had a chance to look at the IS protest website, they will see that actually I've asked a couple of questions in the registration form, such as, what is your relationship with Scientology? Have you previously been a Scientologist, or are you a never in? The reason I asked that information is because the police wanted to know what sort of demographic of people are going to be showing up on the day. And I was able to say, look, from the responses I've had, X amount of people are not Scientologists and never have been. And that demonstrates that they don't have an axe to grind. They're not personally angry by being mistreated themselves. They just want to show support and help people that are in Scientology that want to leave. And that was really, really helpful in us getting the permission that we needed to do the protest. So there was always method to my madness. And I know I can't always explain things at the time as to why I'm doing it, but that is why that form was there. And that is why it was so helpful. And that is why ultimately we got permission to do the protest. So thank you so much for everyone who participated in doing that. Free Xenia Project, thank you for the super chat. Alex, please tell me you're wearing your cowboy hat to the protest. Great idea, actually. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe I shall. I will be wearing this t-shirt, which I printed. If you want to get your own, you can do it at the apostatealex.com merch store. And yeah, that's what I'll be wearing. I'm not sure about the cowboy hat, but we'll see. I'll see what we're going to be wearing on the day. It does look like it's going to be quite bad weather, to be honest. It's going to be rainy and not very pleasant, but it's fine. That's London. That's the UK. That's what we like. And Vakrinos, thank you so much for the super sticker or the super chat, whichever that was. Free Xenia Project, thank you also for the super chat. FYI, there is an app you can track planes all over the world if you know the tail number. That is absolutely correct. And I do know the tail numbers of all of the planes that John Travolta, Tom Cruise, and Grant Cardone operate, and which Dave Miscavige is likely to show up in, and he will likely use. And don't you worry, there are eyes that are on all of them, and I've been tracking them for about a month. And I hope to know as soon as one starts to make its way over the Atlantic. I will, of course, let you guys know. And that's when we can expect Dave Miscavige to be arriving in the UK. Kim Sharp, thank you for the question. Will those donation sites accept money from the States? Yes, PayPal, buy me a coffee, those two things, absolutely. You can donate through those from anywhere in the world, as far as I'm aware, and it would be really, really helpful. I also want to encourage people to donate to the Aftermath Foundation. You know, we also want to send a message of that support. So if you want to help get people out of Scientology, please donate to the Aftermath as well. One Love 5100. Question: does the UK press cover Scientology regularly? It's so great the protests got coverage. Thank you. Great question. And no, there hasn't been a great deal of press coverage here in the UK, other than the Danny Masterson case and the Daily Mail and all of that stuff that a lot of us have seen. This is the first major Scientology press that they've received in a number of years, and it's only just the beginning. I can't even tell you how many phone calls and video calls and meetings I have had over the last week with different press, journalists, people interested in this story, and I can't wait for a lot more of it to come out. This is going to be major. Even if 20 people show up, it's still going to be a huge story in the news. So thank you so much for everyone that's supporting this, and I hope that anyone abroad can feel like they can be a part of it, because we will be streaming on the day. Lara FM, we love Lara. You are so great. Thank you. So proud of you and everyone helping or supporting this. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you, Laura. And look, we are all here united. That's what the t-shirt says. United as a group, trying to do the same thing, and we're trying to help each other. So that's the whole thing. The message of compassion, message of united. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to stream in the next few days, because as I'm sure you can imagine, I am running around like a headless chicken, getting the final bits, details and so on together for the organization of this protest to try and pull it off. So please bear with me if you don't hear me so much on stream, but I will be keeping Twitter updated. There will be more press coverage, and there'll be some more exciting news announcements coming out in the coming days. But the main one for today is the protest is 100% going ahead. St. Hill Road will be closed for the duration of Friday, the 3rd of November. We will be live streaming. There will be lots of video footage. There will be lots of people there, and you guys can take part. If you want to online, just check out my channel and iesprotest.com and follow me on Twitter, because I'm updating lots of stuff daily with that. Christian B, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to cut this short and try not to ramble too much. That's the big news. Keep an eye on the channel. Thank you so much for the support, and hopefully I will hear from you guys soon. Keep in touch. There's some great videos and photos and pictures and things coming through the grapevine, I've been contacted by so many people who are already at St. Hill. All of the hotels and Airbnbs in the local area are booked up. There is already a hive of activity going on at St. Hill already. So there is lots of stuff coming through, and I can't wait to share more of it with you. But for now, that's the announcement, and I'll hopefully see you guys soon.